I see a lot of people from ExCeo. So today I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship. It's a lifelong thing, but you told me that it's been 20 minutes. Alright, so what is entrepreneurship? Can anybody? What do you mean? What do you mean by
taking risk?
Taking the risk? Risk you can jump off the cliff, right? That's it.
So it's part of it.
Really?
It's part of it.
Start your own company, your own venture.
Taking it on board.
Yeah, so that's part of it. So an entrepreneur is someone who wants to do something on his own, like he said, right? He wants to start his own business. He has his own idea, probably a new idea, right? He's not copying some other idea. He can copy it, but it won't work in most of the cases. Right? It's basically starting something new, fresh, from the scratch, right? Taking risks, right? Because whenever you start something new, there are always risks involved. So that's what the definition is, but it's like a standard thing. There's no clear definition of entrepreneurship, right? So it also involves investing in other startups, right? So a person who is an investor who invests in other startups can also be called an entrepreneur. Right? So suppose you have some money, you invested some stake in some other company, so you're also taking the risk, right? So you can also become an entrepreneur. So when I said you should start with a new idea, how are you going to start with a new idea? So you have to find market gaps, right? What others are not doing. Suppose you target an industry, right? So you have to find the gaps because there will be a lot of companies in the same industry. So what others are doing, you should not do that. I mean, ideally, you should not do what others are doing. You should start with something new, finding a market gap, and launching your company in that positioning, like you have started in marketing, right? So you have to position your business very well. Okay, so talking about risk, it's not just risk, it's how you're going to take that risk, right? So taking a risk, like I'll talk about e-commerce because I'm from that segment. So currently e-commerce is at a stage where there are 5 different big players: Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, Healthcart. There are 5 big players, right? Now if you enter that segment now, it will be very difficult for you guys to capture the market share, to earn profits, because everybody is losing money, right? So the idea is to find a place where you can launch where there's nobody, ideally, right? So it's not risk, it's calculated risk, right? So we started e-commerce in 2009, when there was only Flipkart who was selling books. Flipkart was only selling books, Amazon was not present. A lot of other companies started after us. So at this point of time, only Flipkart was there, and probably one more company was there, like Infinity. So, so the idea is basically to not go into something which is very popular, right? Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about e-commerce now, right? So I will not probably enter that market now. Alright. So if you guys are thinking about entrepreneurship, how many of you like want to start their businesses and do something? A couple of you. So what have you thought? Like what ideas you have? Like how do you want to do it?
So I don't really know, but I mean I'm yet to think of it because I used to run a food joint.
Okay, you want to do a food joint?
I used to run one.
Okay.
So it's been a while now. Let's see how things work out here. But like if I could, go back to doing something in that space, then I would love to do it.
So what exactly happened? Like you started it alone or with people?
No, so we were three of us,
Okay.
and the food joint was basically about fast food joint. So what went wrong was the landlord was not cooperative at all. So they were like redoing their building. There was some renovation going on, and they were like pushing the walls, and they were not reducing the rent. So they were like eating up half of the shop space, but they weren't reducing the rent. So that meant that we had to take the adjoining space as well, and that wasn't really turning out to be a profitable deal.
So the real estate killed you, right?
Yes.
So that's a part of the food business, right? Or retail business. If you start a retail business, the real estate will be so huge that it will kill you. So you have to be very careful about that, right? So basically, you have to believe in what you're doing. Like you started your food joint, right? So you should have moved somewhere else then.
So back then things weren't simple. Like I was studying back then. I was doing my engineering. So then there were other things, and then we decided that we'll probably get together at a later point and do
So
something.
you were doing
back the
something
same.
with the studies. So that is like part-time thing, right? Okay. So basically, so what I've observed from last few years in my business that if you want to go into something, you should go full-time. Don't go part-time. Because part-time, your focus is not there on the business. Whenever you do something part-time, it's like an extra money, extra work. So your focus will be always on the first thing you're doing. Like you're studying, so your focus will be on studies, right? So it never works. Well, like 90% of the time, it doesn't work. You should always go full-time. If you're so confident about the business and the idea, you should always go full-time, right? Okay. So like you said, you were doing it alone.
No, I was with two other guys.
Two other guys, okay. So it's very important to find a good partner. If you don't have someone better than you, then it becomes very hard. So you should always look for somebody equal to you or maybe better than you. Better is the best, right? Who can complement you, like, if you are good at one thing, right? Suppose you are doing a technology business. So if you are good at development, right, you should find somebody who's good at business. So in our case, I was from the engineering side. I did my master's in computer engineering from Illinois Tech, Chicago. So I found people from IIM Bangalore, the alumni. So they were really good at marketing and the business side. So we teamed up and then we started. It's always good to find somebody who is like at least better than you in some aspect, right? So that's really the challenge. Alright, so time management, right, in business, time is the essence. If you waste time, then you're losing money. Right, so if we start business like 6 months after we have started, the game would have completely changed. Because 6 months later, Snapdeal entered. Right? So time is of essence there. Okay, so a lot of people say, I've talked to a lot of people like within last 5 years. They just want to start it and they say we'll run it for a year, we'll see how are the returns, and if we make money, we'll continue. If we don't make money, we'll go. Right? That's not the case. So we were losing money for first 4 years. Right? So we lost a lot of money in first 4 years. But in last 1.5 years, we made money. So it's all about like, it's person to person, right? I mean, I can't tell you that you can do that or you can do that, right? It depends on your background, your savings, everything, how you'll manage the business. So it's basically a marathon, right? You can't just go for a year and then come out. It doesn't happen like that. And frankly speaking, if after a year you come out, all the other doors will be closed for you. Because in the job industry, if you sit idle for a year and they see you as, you're not doing anything and, you're just, wasting time, right? That's the perception. I mean, you may not be wasting time. People see you as that, you're sitting idle for 1 year and you've not done anything. Okay? So it's basically a marathon. So idle time is like maybe 3 to 4 years, right? So you should look at 3 to 4 years horizon and then see what you can do. Alright, so every day something is happening, right? So if you achieve something in a day, you should really celebrate it. Because when the business is small, it's a small team, right? And you have to really motivate the people to perform better the next day. Because next day you don't know what is going to happen. Right, so maybe today so in our business it was retail. So we made money one day, we sold a lot of products, and the next day we are sitting idle, right? So the day we made sales, we have to celebrate it, right? Otherwise people, they lose hope, right? Okay, so this is like just a general life funda that, you know, you should help others, they will help you. So we helped a lot of logistic players, new logistic players. We helped a lot of distributors who were supplying to us. So later on, they helped us. So, you know, there's something in the industry, especially in e-commerce, you know, the companies are trying to block each other. So they really supported us there. Okay. So, so in the business world, the bigger companies and the bigger people will always try to, you know, control you, right? So you have to make a decision whether to go with them or not go with them, right? So it is very important, you should say no. If you don't like the deal, say no, whoever it is, right? You don't have to say yes to, like, you know, if it's a big company, you have to say yes to them. So we rejected FedEx, we rejected Blue Dart. We're not going to work with you, right? So we started working with the smaller logistic players. We worked with 3-4 players, and then later on FedEx and Blue Dart came to us, and they wanted to work with us. So, you know, you have to take your decisions very well, and don't be shy to ask for help from anyone, right? So there are a lot of people who are ready to help you. There are a lot of advisors in the market. There are a lot of you know, people who have done this similar kind of businesses. You should always go to them, write an email. Everybody would love to help you. You know, because they also see it as an opportunity. You know, because everybody is looking for, you know, more money, more business, anything. So they will help you and they will come to you. If they like your idea, they will help you more, right? So that's the case. And it's always good to have entrepreneurs around you, because then, you know, so basically entrepreneurship is, you know, it's a lifestyle. It's not really doing business, it's a lifestyle. So you have to change your habits. Like when we work in a corporate, the lifestyle is very different. You know, because you go to work every day, you do whatever you want, you know, you come back, then you enjoy and all that. So in entrepreneurship, all that is gone, right? So you have to be around people who are like you, because otherwise you feel distracted, right? These people are doing something you are not able to do, right? So that's the thing. Alright, so customers. Customer is a very important deal. For retail, customers is the most important people, right? They give you money, they ask for service. Now, in our case, what we did, each one of our management used to sit on the customer support desk for a day in a month. So we used to sit on the customer support desk and we used to see what kind of, you know, the complaints are there, what kind of, you know, what is the complaint time, what is the resolution time, how the people are taking care of the customers, because there are some customers who are calling again, like for the second time, third time, fourth time, right? So you have to see what our people are doing. So it is very important to take care of your customers, because e-commerce started in 2007. It was a very new thing. Nobody knew about it, how to use it, how to buy, in India at least. So you have to handle your customers and then you know, help them. So literally one of our key marketing officers, he sat with the customer for an hour and he explained you exactly how to buy a product. So that's the kind of thing you have to do. You know, when so basically it's not easy, man. That's what I'm trying to make you, right? It's not easy. And especially the B2C business is like, it's like very hard. That's what I have learned. Okay. So, so bad clients, right? So what happened in our case, we had more than, all across India we have more than 600 distributors, right, who used to supply products to us. Once in a while what happens is, these guys never used to respond to calls. They, you know, go back on their commitments. They never used to, you know, supply the products on time or whatever is the case, right? So the idea is to just cut off with them, you know. You can't work with such people, because you will negotiate once, twice, right? Later, there's no point working with such people, you know. So it is always better to cut off those people and just so these are really not clients, but these are suppliers. But it works in the same way. Right? Okay, so I ran a food joint in US before this, so I really know what is customer service. So the idea about customer service and how to deal. So we designed our own policies, which was very different from what Flipkart is doing or what other companies are doing. This was based on the food industry, right? How we serve and how we take care of the people. So since we were a small business, we were not as big as Flipkart. So we managed to provide that level of customer service to our customers. Right? So this is basically like looking outside of your industry for inspiration. So you can look at other. This is just one example. You can look for other industry and incorporate those things within your new business. Right? Okay, that's it. So this is just a general, things you can do when you are starting a business. Now, if it doesn't apply in all kinds of businesses. Right? So this is like just a general thing. You have to think on your own what kind of businesses you are going to do and what kind of things you will implement. Any questions you have? About e-commerce?
Was this the e-commerce thing you were doing? It's named as E-Gully, right?
Yeah, it's E-Gully.com.
So you were majorly into selling clothes to
So we were into durables.
Europe. For how many years did you run it?
We ran it for 5.5 years. It's still going on. Just that I took an exit.
The same question which we were asking the other speaker. She was also
Come here,
running
Zuba.
a successful business and she was doing good. What made you come to
It was
this
Rahul
one?
was coming, sir.
So
What
see-
was your motivation of
See, you have to take an exit, right?
Recorded Ramesh.
Business is not for a lifetime. I mean, I can find better businesses than what I was doing. Right? So it is not just that I have a business, so I'll stick with it for the lifetime. Right? So
You still
the
have-
industry is losing money.
Recording.
We are making profits, but not that much. Okay, frankly. There's a very the competition is very big now because the business differentiation is not that much because we were into horizontal space, right? So we were selling across 10 categories, and these guys were also selling across those categories. So I mean, you can find out like there's hardly any difference. So you can just compete on the price, and these guys are just burning money to give discounts. We can't do that forever. So we did that. We somehow created a niche in some part of it. Then we made profits from few categories, not from all.
see now E-Gully is still functioning
So
it's
E-Gully, yeah.
reduced into a few categories and it's not across different
So yeah, so they have reduced the category. I think 5. Because electronics and computer segment is like going down the drain.
So you have an idea. That's what every entrepreneur starts with. What is the next step? How do you get to work making it a reality? What is the first thing you would advise an entrepreneur?
So first you have to see what stage you are at in your life. Right? What point of life you are at. So today may not be the right point to start a business, right? Maybe 1 year later, maybe 6 months, maybe some years down the lane. So first you have to decide what are you ready for it, whether you have the backup. Because see, any business you start, first 2 years is very crucial. So you should have money to back you up. That's what I think. Right? So you should have some savings so that if you don't make anything out of the business and you lose money there, you still can live your life the way you are living it. Maybe you can cut down a few things, but ideally,
sacrifices.
yeah.
So-
Ideally you should have money to live your life the same.
So Rahul, can you tell about more about your experience? How was it like the starting up phase, then going through?
Okay.
Did you face any difficulties, etc.?
So I was in US. I was working in embedded systems. I worked for AMD and Philips. Then after that, I really wanted to do. I didn't want to live in US because it's a totally different culture and totally different country. I didn't like it that much. I wanted to come back and start my own business. I didn't want to work in India at that point of time. Now I know. But at that time I was like 26. So I wanted to start my own business. So I found, first I didn't come here, I found people, I started talking to people, I started talking to alumni from IIM Ahmedabad and Bangalore, because I really wanted management guys to come with me, because I had no experience of business. So I talked to IIM alumni, they have, some professor is their alumni head. So I talked to him, I found people, I talked to around 15 people. Then I shortlisted the guys. Then I finally shortlisted 5 guys, and then out of that only 2 joined me. Because I knew that everybody will not join me, right?
So you kind of hired them, or were they partners?
No, they were partners. Right? They're partners, and
They
they
were
also,
interested in business.
yeah, no, there was no business at that point in time. It was only an idea. So I wanted them as partners. So 2 guys came with me as partners. They also invested the money, because I just don't want people who come in and then after 2 months they want to leave, right? So we all invested some money, and then we started the business. And then over a period of years, we got some more money, and then we grew. We started an office in Delhi, then we started in Bangalore. So we had 2 offices with 2 warehouses. So that's how we expanded over a period of time. We started with one category, electronics, books, and then slowly we added, keep on adding.
Were you an Indian company or US company?
Indian company.
Can you discuss your experience starting from the technology stack? What did you choose? How did you choose? What was the difficulties in building the platform? Was it a smooth process?
So,
Was it a
yeah, so development is not a big deal, right? I mean, development is like, it's quite similar. We use PHP, MySQL, and like basic stack. So development is not a big deal.
You developed?
Yeah, we did it in-house. All 3 of us were engineers. So we did it in-house within like 4 or 5 months. We didn't want to waste much time, in developing the platform and coming up with all the, crazy features and all that. We started with a simple platform. Within 4 months, we launched it, and then we kept on doing the development and adding the features.
But you did have a development team later on, right?
So now we have a development team, but initially we all did it in-house.
What was your funding process? How did you find it?
So funding process, so there are a lot of angels who are interested, right?
Okay.
And they're always looking for ideas.
Okay.
They always keep getting emails. They look at ideas. They don't really care. They don't really care who it is coming from.
Okay.
So if you send him an email, he'll read your idea.
Okay.
Right. So we found a list of people, HNIs, angel investors. There are a bunch of groups like the Harvard Angels, Mumbai Angels, all these angel groups. In Delhi also they have an angel group. That guy. And through him I went to this angel group, and I found some people there, and then through them I found some other people.
Okay.
So it's like over a period of time I found few people.
Okay.
And then one of them invested in us.
So how was it like? You said you went for round 2 funding, right? So how was it? That would have been recent, right? At least 2 years back. I don't know when.
Yeah.
So then at that point of time, Snapdeal and Flipkart and Amazon had emerged as like real players. So what was your how did you propose it to them? Like why E-Gully as such? How did you manage to convince them?
So we were doing good, right? I mean, we made money in last 1.5 years.
Okay.
That's when we raised. So we showed them we are profitable.
Right.
And if you give us money, right, we can reduce our categories, and then we'll target these few categories, and we'll go in that segment. And we are really not competing with them. So we are competing with them on the product quality and customer service.
Okay.
That's it. We're not competing in the number of products and the number of sales and all that.
So you said you rather want to be a smaller company.
So we'll stay small. We'll target a segment of it.
So how do you do your marketing effort in terms of Flipkart and Amazon, Snapdeal? They are shedding loads of money to this market.
That's the major problem.
So आप लोग का कैसा how is that? There are so many websites. How would one know that okay, E-Gully is there and I need to shop it? Put something specific in.
So that was a very there we had an advantage because we were early movers. So we already have our own chain of URL spread all over the place. So we are basically doing organic now, but earlier we were doing Google AdWords, a lot of stuff, Facebook ads and all that. So we used to do it in-house only. These guys pay outside companies and they do it for them. But we did everything. We have a team. We used to do it. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we start now, it is not possible. Because you have to shell out a lot of money for that. But at that point of time, it was very easy.
Use technology.
It was very easy, right? Because people didn't know about it. Only Flipkart and us. Flipkart was books, we were electronics. Finish.
what's your survival strategy now with Amazon and Flipkart? I don't think they will leave anything, any specific category as such.
I'm out now.
No, but
I don't have a strategy for
E-Gully is still like
yeah. So I don't have any strategy. That's why I'm out. I don't know what to do next.
But then you would still know, right? What are those guys doing to survive? Because it's just too.
So they will basically target some niche, and it will be reduced to a category. That is what I can.
What
Verticals.
Niche is like, suppose we have 10 categories. Whichever category is performing well, and they think that these bigger players will not touch that category, they will target that category.
Category wise also, because everything is booked up, Jabong and
So your first focus was only on
So
electronics.
Jabong is into apples. We were not into apples
so
at
you're
all.
more into durables,
We're not
so
into
you have
apples.
to restrict now pick one category and just you as in
We were doing gift segment also. Flipkart is not doing gifts.
As of now, do you see any scope left in e-commerce?
Yeah, there's scope. You just have to come up with something new, right?
As in like, which segment do you think
I
can
don't know. Otherwise, I'll do it.
If you knew,
even if you knew it, he would not tell you.
I don't know. So you have to think over it. Really hard. Really hard. Because there's not much left.
Yeah.
More than much left, it's more about the number game. The people who put in a lot of money.
Flooding the market.
And India is not such a good place actually.
Maybe. In what sense?
India's not, the margins are not that great.
Too much. Is it because these guys
Also the penetration is not that great. We are hardly like what, 5%? of the population, right?
That means there's scope.
There is scope, but then you have to play long term, right?
Long term.
He's talking about like you really need to incur a lot of losses to be.
I mean, if you have 50% penetration of internet, right? So you have that much population, 100 crores. So you have 50 crores. Okay? So it is easier. You launch a company, you will get some share out of it. But right now you have only 5 crores.
The margins are really that low because of Amazon and Flipkart, right?
Margins are very low in India, otherwise also in the offline space also.
Yeah, yes.
Margins are low in Indian products because the retail price is very low in India. If you see, the retail prices are low in India. In US, the average retail cost of a product is around $50. Okay, that is 2,500. In India, it's like 700-800,000. And the logistic costs are almost same. It's more difficult in India to do logistics.
You can ask me.
He will tell you. He's from logistics. It's really hard because companies cannot reach every place in India.
Can you talk about how you went about finding suppliers to, provide you
So we just called them, met with them, did meetings.
where do you start?
Where do you start? So we were in Delhi, Nehru Place. Everybody's over there.
I think we can take
So we started off his office in their hub. So that was easy.
And so you just told them that this is what we're planning to do.
Yeah. It was hard because they don't know exactly what we are doing. But after 6 months, they came to know. Because they are really scared about their payments. So these suppliers are really worried that whether we'll pay them or not. So initially we gave them cash. So we had no credit for like first 3 months. We gave them cash, we bought the stock. And after 3 months, once they saw that we are buying and purchasing again and again, they were like, okay, fine. We'll give you week credit, then 2 weeks, then 3
It's
weeks.
more of a credit business.
Did you do, how was the negotiation like with them? Was it easy, difficult?
It was difficult, obviously, because they already had a market. They were already selling. So these suppliers are not small. They are like 100 crore, 200, 300 crore company. They are already selling to offline shops. Why will they entertain a new player? So it was really hard to convince them. But then we told them that we are not going to compete with your business. You are selling offline, keep selling to them. We are going online and we are not selling in Delhi. We told them that our major business is from South India. So you don't worry about it. They were like, okay.
It's one line extension.
Yeah. So that's how it
See,
Alright?
I think we're good.
Okay, thank you guys.
Sure.
Thank you, Rahul.
Nice done.
Cool.